Welcome to the Real View podcast, where Ohio Realtors connect you to innovators and influencers, keeping you with the real view of real estate. Whether you're a broker, agent, first-time homebuyer, industry leader, or just happen to stumble upon our podcast today, you can expect to hear tips, tools, tricks, interesting information, and so much more from the experts in Ohio's real estate game. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Real View podcast. I am your host, Allison Wiley. Joining me today, our special guest is Lyons. She is an Ohio realtor and winner of this year's RPAC auction. And because of that, she is getting to join me for a special episode of the Real View podcast. So I'm so happy to have her on and be learning a little bit more about her. Lori, welcome onto the show.
Thank you, Allison. I am so excited to be here. I'm a huge fan of your podcast.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And we got a chance to meet each other at convention, and you were so sweet and so kind. And thank you for your support. And I can't think of a better person to be joining me today to talk a little bit more about the world and, you know, what's happening in Ohio Realtors, what's happening in your life, how we get involved, how we make the most of our opportunities here within the association and around the industry. So thank you for your support. And I'm really excited, as I said. And it's always great to talk to an Ohio person. I feel like I talk to so many people like nationally that like, all right, I'm talking to one of my own today. So this is awesome. So I want us to first start out, Lori, with a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your journey into real estate and what's led you to where you are today?
Sure. So I started, probably 25 years ago. I started with just buying a couple of investment properties, and the realtor who represented me, his passion in real estate was, what can I say, infectious. That really got me going and motivated. And eventually I got my license and I joined a small brokerage that had residential commercial division. And I also then created a property management division there as well and headed up the residential division, oversaw all the residential there. And then I, in 2015, purchased that brokerage. And so we had residential, commercial, and property management for many years there. And just a couple of years ago, I sold that brokerage and decided to just buy and sell for other people and kind of slow it down a little bit and be able to enjoy getting more involved at the local board and other community and local functions as well. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
I love that. I love that. And I know that's one of the things I can't wait to talk to you more about is, you know, your passion about being involved and the importance of that. So thank you for your, involvement, for your time, for wanting to be and give back to the association. So we really appreciate that. And I guess we can dive right into some of that. I know Women's Council of Realtors, WCR, has been important to you throughout your time. And, when we were chatting about, what do we want to talk about? What should we share? This was something that you were really passionate and cared about quite a bit. So tell us about Women's Council of Realtors, what it is and what attracted you to it.
Absolutely. So our mission at Women's Council of Realtors is advancing women as business leaders in the industry and in communities we serve. It's a wonderful group. It is open to men and women. Fun fact, did you know that all NAR and OAR officers going back to 2018 have all been WCR members?
Wow.
Yes. So our hashtag is Leaders Are Made Here. So I am very passionate about Women's Council of Realtors. That is the first organization I joined as soon as I got my license, and I have been active with WCR ever since. Currently, right now, I am in the National Leadership Institute with Women's Council of Realtors, and I will present next month at National Association in Boston to graduate from the Leadership Institute. So excited about that. And next year, I will be the president of our Dayton Association as well. So Dayton WCR Association. So lots of things going on. We have wonderful programming every single month at the local level and then quarterly with the state level. What I love about Women's Council of Realtors, you walk in, you take your brokerage hat off. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're with. You're there to network, grow your business, get to know other people that are going through exactly what you're going through. And, with everything going on in the industry these days, it's good to know there's other people around you that are experiencing everything else you are, and you can talk about what's going on, what are you doing. And then we have programs centered around that as well, monthly programs. We have health and wellness, women and wealth, various things to educate. And then we also have leadership and training and spokesperson training as well. So a wide variety of things to help people in their business and help them grow and lead, whether it's leadership of something big and grand or whether it's just leading by example. So it's a fantastic group. I recommend anyone checking out and coming and visiting and seeing what we're all about.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you want to talk about being with the best of the best. And as you mentioned, learning with people, especially in times of change, and being there to, just have that camaraderie and have that community, I think is really great. And it sounds like there's no better place, to do it. And as you mentioned with the fun fact about the presidents and the leadership that comes out of this council, it's really special and absolutely so many benefits that come along with it. And I got to say, too, you guys have some fun. I know you were in our building here at Ohio Realtors right before convention started this year back in September. And it looked so fun. It looked like you guys had a blast. And tell us a little bit about that too, because yes, there is that professional development side of it and growing that leadership skills and learning from your peers. But you guys have some fun too, right?
We do. So we have what we were doing at the building there. That was our state meeting. So we always meet the day before the state convention or any of the state meetings. And in the mornings, we have our governing meeting, pass any rules or over any guidelines, pass any standing rules, etc. And then in the afternoon, we have speakers. So that day we had national speaker Carrie Hartnett. That's our current national president of Women's Council Realtors. She was there, and also an individual from Michigan was there talking about verbos. Airbnbs, etc. So we do have a lot of fun. There's a lot of camaraderie there, even though we are all realtors. It's okay for us to have fun and enjoy each other. We do have affiliates there as well. So we do have some lenders and title, also some home warranty individuals as well. But there is definitely a connection amongst all of us and learning opportunities as well and helping each of us grow.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's important. I think, to combine those two together, you have a really good mix of focusing on the business and making sure that side of things, is growing and you're getting things accomplished that you need to. And then having fun is always little sprinkles on top of the cake. Absolutely. How does someone get involved in WCR? How can they learn more information? Is it through the local boards, or what if someone's listening who thinks that might be a good fit for them? How can they reach out and learn more information?
So most of the information, if you go to wcr.org, that's our national site, and you can locate then your state, and then within the state, all of the networks within the state to find where your closest network is and find out when they are meeting. And then you can check one of their meetings out, see what it's all about. You can join online as well at the wcr.org. And it is super beneficial to, the referrals that we pass as well, state to state, because when we go to mid-year and national, we are meeting hundreds of women there as well. I get referrals from women from other states that I meet at these events. So it's a great referral network there as well. I get referrals from people from within our state as well. There's also a PMN designation that is another level of designation, professional management network, that you can get under the Women's Council Realtors also.
Yeah, it's really great way to network, great way to expand your business, those opportunities, you're right, that you get from a national level. And you talked a little bit about, what you'll be doing at Boston, but what is what does that look like on a national scale? And when you attend, some of these NAR events and things like that as a member of the Ohio chapter and as a member of your local chapter? What does that look like, and how does that work with the national events?
So when we go to national this fall, we will have, there are also Women's Council Realtor events going on simultaneously. There is some overlap. Same with mid-year, there is some overlap as well. But there's definitely some education pieces. We will have a day for the National Leadership Institute to do our training pieces that we'll be presenting. And then we will have our graduation piece as well there at the National. There's also the Women's Council Realtors inauguration for Tammy Knoll Adams coming in as our president from Georgia, I believe, that she will be our incoming Women's Council Realtors president. So we will all be there to support her, but we will also be able to then come to the national inauguration as well and be able to go to all that. So it is a maneuvering act trying to hit all those pieces. But we do definitely, within our own local board, we see a lot of Women's Council Realtors on our board of directors, going through the line all the way up to state presidents, et cetera.
This episode of The Real View is brought to you by the Ohio Association of Community Colleges. Ohio's network of community colleges provides accessible training that accommodates the busy lifestyles of aspiring real estate professionals at half the price of a traditional university. With convenient locations in every part of the state, as well as online options, Ohio's community colleges are your smart choice for pre-licensing education. For more details or to start the journey to a real estate career, visit the education page at ohiorealtors.org and then click on the pre-license course locations.
Yep, absolutely. It is a great opportunity if you want to grow in that area, if you want to become more involved. And I love that you mentioned too, it's not just only for women, that anyone can join it. So we welcome our guys into the program. We hope that they'll come check it out too. Always good to have that involvement, outside of what you might think of. Oh, this is just the Women's Council. No, it's for everybody. Come get involved. As Lori mentioned, numerous presidents have made their way through. And on the same train of thought as the leadership and what that looks like, I know you mentioned in the beginning, that's one of the things you're hoping to do is give back and be a part, be very involved in your local and state and WCRs. In your opinion, tell me a little bit about why that leadership and that service, being involved in your associations, is so important.
So many years people have given to me and helped me, and I want to be able to give back. Again, there's so much going on in today's industry, and people have given me grace. I want to see people and be able to give them grace. I want to be able to mentor. I want to be able to help lift those up. Our theme for this year is Lift as You Climb. And that is so important to me as a leader. Bring those up with you, include those people with you, empower those with you. A leader is not someone that just stands by themselves at a podium. It is so important to surround yourself with like-minded people. And, if you see someone sitting there alone, bring them up with you, find out what they're interested in, help them get involved. Again, that doesn't mean that if they don't want to stand at a podium, they don't have to, but what do they want to get involved in? Someone saw that in me, and sure, it took a few years to pull the wallflower from the wall, but slowly but surely, I, became more and more involved and be able to step up. So I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to help those find what their passion is and help them be able to give back as well.
I love that. That's really special. Sounds like you have such a big heart and such a caring, for this industry, for what it's given to you. And now you kind of want to pay that back, pay it forward, and bring along those others. And that's what's really cool about, being involved is that, yes, there are things going on. Yes, we're dealing with changes in the industry. Yes, the market ebbs and flows. But what's so great about being involved is that we have the opportunity to make a difference and make some of that change and help guide and shape, the world that we want to see. And it sounds like, you recognize and see that and are hoping to instill that in other people too. That's, I think, really awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I know you're super involved. I saw you at convention. We chatted a little bit. What was your experience like at convention? Tell me about that, about being there. Do you come to conventions often? It sounds like you do because you're super involved in national and things like that. But what was your experience like at convention?
Oh, there's not enough hours in the day. I'm exhausted by the time I get done because there's so much great things.
Yeah.
I do go to convention every year. I enjoy being there, networking, hearing the speakers, learning. My mind is just racing by the end, all the information. So I really do always enjoy the state convention is wonderful. Ohio always puts on a wonderful convention, wonderful topics. Terry Watson and I can't even remember all the speakers' names, but it was great. So much information, and I do want to hit on RPAC too as well because I am very passionate about that, and that's how I won this podcast. The importance of RPAC. I never really paid much attention to RPAC when I first became a member. I heard the words, I heard DARPAC, that's what we call it in Dayton. I didn't really pay attention until COVID hit. And I think that's when a lot of us kind of perked our ears up more because that's really how we were able to work. We became essential because of our RPAC and our dollars. And that's really when I became to listen more and go to more functions and to do more than just the minimum donation. But really, if everyone would just do the minimum donation, and that's what we're encouraging. Our goal this year for Women's Council of Realtors, we have 410 members right now in Ohio. And our goal is to have every one of them do at least the minimum donation. And we're getting close. So, but our PAC, what I like is, I'm so ready for elections to be done because I'm tired of hearing all
I think
the
everybody is, right? We can all agree on that.
But I like that it's purple.
Yes.
We support the candidates that support our issues and our concerns. So there's so many things that it helped us. It's helped us keep our independent contractor status, our private property rights, and again, it's helped us keep it, as an essential worker during the COVID. So many more. I mean, we could probably sit here and list all day long so many other things that it has helped us with. So I do encourage you, if anyone listening, if you have not looked into RPAC, investigate it a little more, learn more about it, and at least make the minimum donation, but learn more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's a ton of information and resources out there. You can always reach out to the team here at Ohio Realtors too. Our public policy staff are just fantastic, and they work so closely with those legislators, with members of the RPAC Trustees Committee and other committees on legislation. They are monitoring. I mean, the amount of bills that they monitor is crazy. I don't know how they're keeping all of that straight, but they do such a great job. And as you mentioned, those dollars hard at work, right? Like, we are making those investments to protect our industry, to make sure that, we can be there to respond if something, is going to go wrong. We can combine our resources and really make sure our voice is strong and that we're advocating on behalf of our industry and our rights. And you're right about COVID. And, I think that that gets overlooked oftentimes, but we were very lucky in Ohio, and not a lot of other states were as fortunate as we are. And I think that really speaks to the strength of what we have here with our RPAC and why it's so critical to be involved. And there's so many ways to get involved, right? I know you supported the auction. Tell us about some other ways. I know you mentioned the donation, but there's stuff that happens at local. Tell us some more ways that we can get involved in RPAC.
There's several, if you just want to go, our local association, our DARPAC does several events throughout the year, fundraisers. You can do that. You can go to the fundraisers. You can bid on the auction items. You can do them online. The state always has auction items. If you can't go to your local one, you can always bid online at other local ones as well. And then, of course, you can go online and invest your dollars more online as well to candidates. And then also go to, eventually, as you donate more, go to President's Circle as well.
Yeah, which is another really great benefit of investing those dollars. And yeah, I mean, they really do a great job of figuring out, who to give those dollars to. The process of making sure that the people we're supporting, are in alignment with what we want. It really is a very thorough process. And I hope anyone listening knows that and can feel good about investing, that it will be well taken care of, and we will be safeguarding and protecting the interests of our industry. So thank you for your support and your passion of RPAC. It really is one of the strengths of the association, and it really does mean a lot to be able to do this and protect homeownership and those people that we help find their homes. So Lori, you're so involved and you have such a good pulse on the industry, on what's happening, on leadership. Is there one, bit of advice or something you want to share with our listeners about your journey, about leadership, about how we can navigate tough and challenging times? Or what would that be if you had to kind of sum it up, and what you've learned over the past through your involvement, and what you want to share with the audience as far as best advice or words of wisdom?
Figure out what your passion is, hone in on that, but remember to give yourself grace and to give others grace. That is so important. We are so quick to judge.
Yes. Yeah. And having that empathy, and it goes a long way. We're all in this together. We're all, as you mentioned before, we're all experiencing the same things. We're not alone in this, and together, we can navigate and make our way through it. So I think that's really great. What's next for you, Lori? What can we expect? Yeah. Tell us what's next for you and what the future looks like.
Well, I do plan on running for the state line for Women's Council of Realtors. So I haven't really announced that yet. So
breaking news on the show today.
I do plan on doing that. And I am on several committees with our local board, but I do plan on running for a few things there as well. That'll be coming up soon.
Yes, it sounds like we will be seeing a lot of you.
Yes, I hope so.
Well, you have so much to give back to, and so much wisdom and knowledge, and I can't wait to see what you do next. It's going to be exciting, and we appreciate your service and all that you do for our industry.
Thank you, Allison.
Yeah, and to all of our listeners, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love talking to you, Lori. Thank you again for coming on, for sharing your time today, for your support of the show and RPAC and all that we do. We really appreciate you. To all of our listeners, we will be back with you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to The Real View. That wraps up today's episode. You can keep up with the latest on the podcast at ohiorealtors.org/therealview and on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Have questions, comments, or suggestions? We want to hear from you. Email us at podcast@ohiorealtors.org. We'll see you next time.